All right, guys, if you want to see the show, you've got to go to YouTube, youtube.com/Barside Jive Live, because we can't get the show out on Facebook today for some reason. So if you want to see it on Facebook, you're out of luck. But youtube.com/Barside Jive Live. See you there. Hey, let's meet on YouTube.
We're live on YouTube now.
We are?
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. Hey, guys. This episode of Barside Jive is brought to you by Taco Freaking Casa. Thanks, Tony.
Oh, no burrito Tony came through.
That's right. Mmm.
Oh, now we're on Facebook.
And they're tasty tacos, too.
Next time I
Oh,
don't
no,
want
we're not.
lettuce on mine.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You didn't get any lettuce? I got a little. You look right there. Little lettuce.
No, I didn't want any
See it?
lettuce.
Oh, you didn't want lettuce. Mmm.
That
So-
would make a taco seem like it was healthy.
Be like a salad.
Mm-hmm.
I know how much you like salads.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, welcome back to Barside Jive. I am DC, your host, and this is
AJ.
AJ is the proprietor, the owner, the bartender of AJ's on Main Street in historic downtown Grapevine, Texas. 651 South Main to be exact, right, AJ?
Yep.
Yep.
Are you the pit master also?
I am the pit master. Got the card.
Mm. Did you guys have a good weekend? They can't talk back. Did you have a good weekend?
I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
What'd you do? Anything
I
exciting?
can't tell you.
Oh, you can't tell me. Hmm. Well, did you do anything you can talk about?
I played pool.
Played pool?
Mhm.
Again?
Mm-hmm.
VFW.
Mm-hmm. And then I went home and swam in the rain.
Swam in the rain. Ooh, I love swimming in the rain. Been watching those Olympics? Hey, sad thing about Dusty Hill.
Very sad.
Very sad. Yeah, we lost a great, guys. We lost a great with the loss of Dusty Hill the other day. It's tragic. And actually, the last video I saw of him, the last show he did, he was sitting on an amp, I guess, and he never came back.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Don't know. We don't know what happened, but Dusty was a great, and we're gonna really miss him.
He had a hip problem.
Yeah.
They haven't announced though whether that had anything to do with it, so we don't know.
Yeah. But huge loss for the band and all the fans
Us.
and the family, of course.
Yeah.
It's tragic. But anyway, with all the defund police thing going on, you know, yes, we said it. No, we didn't. It made me think of a story.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so recently a routine police patrol was parked outside of a bar, much like AJ's on Main. After last call, the officer noticed a man leaving the bar, so apparently intoxicated that he couldn't even walk. So the man stumbled around the parking lot for a few minutes, and the officer was quietly observing him. And after what seemed like an eternity, in which he tried his keys on 5 different vehicles in the parking lot, the man managed to find his car and fall into it. He sat there for a few minutes as a number of other patrons left the bar and drove off. Finally, he started the car. Although there was no rain, he switched the wipers on, flicked the blinkers on and off for a couple of times, honked the horn, and then switched on the lights. He moved the vehicle forward just a few inches, reversed it a little, and then remained still for a few more minutes as some more of the other patrons left the parking lot. At last, when his was the only car left in the whole freaking parking lot, he pulled out and drove slowly down the road. Well, the police officer, having waited patiently all this time, now started up his patrol car, put on the flashing lights, and promptly pulled the man over. He immediately administered a field sobriety test, and to his amazement, the dude totally passed it. I mean, it was like he hadn't had a drink at all. Well, the policeman was totally surprised. So he told the guy, hey, you're going to follow me to the police station because obviously you're intoxicated, but it's not showing up, and I'm going to have to run you on the Intoxilizer. So the dude said, okay, but let me tell you, officer, tonight I was the designated decoy. Pretty smart, right?
It might work once.
Yeah, well, that's all you need. That's all you need. All right. Was that good, or?
It was clever.
It was clever.
Not necessarily funny, but clever.
All right. Well, I'll keep trying. Oh, last week or week before was really good. Yeah. So, Barside Jive is sponsored by the legendary Zoo.
The Zoo. On Vocal.
You guys know the Zoo, the king of classic rock, with those deep cuts, those B-sides, all that stuff you'll never hear on corporate radio. And the Zoo is now streamed universally, 24/7, 365, vocalnow.com. And remember, Vocal is intentionally misspelled with a K. vocalnow.com. My featured guest today is Corky Laing. Corky's back from last week. Lawrence Gordon Corky Laing, what a name. Born January 26, 1948, is a Canadian rock drummer, best known as a longtime member of the pioneering American hard rock band Mountain. After the band's first breakup, Laing and Mountain bandmate Leslie West went on to form blues rock power trio West, Bruce, and Laing with former Cream bassist and vocalist Jack Bruce. So we recently lost Leslie West, not too long ago, earlier in the year, and Corky is the last remaining member of that lineup. So here Corky is now.
Hi, Corky Laing here from Mountain. I don't know if you remember, but I'm here with DC at Barside Jive. Join us. Having a lot of fun.
Thanks, Corky. We will see you in a minute. So this is the time in the show when I usually turn to AJ and say, hey, AJ, what are we drinking?
Today we are drinking Raw & Sons Oktoberfest, the first Oktoberfest of the season.
The first.
Nice mark.
It's always cool being the first. They're in Fort Worth too, right?
They come out earlier and earlier every year.
It's kind of like
They never make it to October.
Yeah, it's kind of like Christmas decorations hit the shelves
Yeah.
in October
Yeah,
before.
Halloween.
I mean, really, they're putting them out now at the same time they're putting out Halloween stuff.
Yep.
It's crazy. Well, it's a good thing we're drinking beer because beer is great therapy. And it's cheaper than seeing a therapist. You wouldn't know anything about that, though. But that leads me up to my next story, which, speaking of therapy. So there are these 3 women in therapy, right? You listening?
Uh-huh.
Okay. The therapist says to the women, you all have addictions. He says to the first woman, well, your addiction is an addiction to money, which is represented in your daughter's name, Penny. He says to the second, and you have an addiction to food, which is also represented in your daughter's name, Sweetie. Before the therapist can even address the third woman, she hurriedly grabs her son and says, Let's go, Dick. You weren't listening.
Yeah.
No, you weren't. Let's go,
I want
Dick.
to know who she is.
Let's go, Dick. Guys, be sure to check out my YouTube channel. Just search Barside Jive Live at youtube.com and click subscribe, and then click that itty bitty bell.
It's going something.
When I post my premium content, which is free to all of you because you know you're all premium people. And that will bring us up to our featured guest segment, which is sponsored by our friends at Fog Hat Sellers.
Hi DC, thanks for having us on your show. And for you folks, I'm Roger of the band Foghat, and these are our wines. Foghat Cellars. This is a Chardonnay from Monterey County, absolutely delicious, 2014. We have 2013 Pinot Noir from Monterey County. It's absolutely fabulous, a wonderful drinking wine. If you like Pinots, you'll love it. This is a Cabernet Sauvignon from Paso Robles. All our wines come from Central Coast of California. Steve Rasmussen is our winemaker, though in fact myself and Linda actually get involved in the making of some of our wines. Drink, enjoy, go to foghatcellars.com to find out how to get them. Thanks, bye.
Yeah, you got to boogie. All God's children got a boogie to break it on. Yeah.
Don't forget to use our special coupon code Barside Jive.
Special what?
Special coupon code.
Coupon.
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 At the code is Barside Jive at the checkout screen for 20% off your entire purchase. And you can even get an autographed bottle of wine from Roger Earl, the only remaining member of the classic lineup of Foghat.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How's that taco?
Taco good, man.
Yeah.
But did I mention earlier that a featured guest is Corky Laing?
Mm-hmm.
Corky Laing?
Yeah, yeah. That guy?
Yeah. Yep, Corky Laing, the legendary drummer of iconic rock bands Mountain and West, Bruce and Laing. And I'll be right back with Corky Laing after this quick break, right?
Yep.
Okay, let's do it. Hey, Corky, what's going on?
Oh, you're going, look at it. We got to stop eating this way. People will talk.
Oh, hey, cheers.
Harry's to you. Yes, yes, DC. So how are you doing? It must be hot down there.
It is.
Is it hot?
It is. Hey, let's get
Okay.
into this. I don't want to run out of time again.
All right.
Okay, so in 1969, you and George and Gary went on to create Energy, who is produced by Cream collaborator and your future bandmate Felix
That's right.
Popularity.
Yep.
Now, was Mississippi Queen and what ended up being called For Yazga's Farm, were those actually Energy songs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they were. Yeah. The bass player, an oldest friend of mine, was we co-writer for a lot of songs from Energy. And what happened is when I went off to play with Felix, Leslie, and Steve in Mountain to put the Mountain band, we didn't have any material. You know, in other words, we weren't really prepared. Leslie had done a solo album and used up the songs that he wrote. So what happened is when Felix was producing Energy and he liked some of the songs we were working with, especially for Yasker's Farm, which was called Who Am I But You and the Sun. Keeping in mind at the time, that was the very hippie era, you know, like who am I? But, you know, it was all very natural.
Right.
And Felix really loved the melody. And Felix, when you listen to his singing, is very much like the Eric Clapton voice. He has that beautiful, soft rock, brought it into Mountain. What happened on a separate day at that time, and that was the summer '69, I was up at Leslie's apartment, and he said, by the way, you got any lyrics, Corky? And I said, as a matter of fact, I do. And I literally pulled out of my back pocket the lyrics for Mississippi Queen, which I had kept for a couple of months in my back pocket, only because I had a complete lyric. It's very, you know, to have a complete lyric is something these days. A lot of guys get it and then they finish it in the studio and this and that. But the lyric was 100% there. And so I got to tell you, Leslie just took it in front of him and just picked up guitar and he killed it right away. It was not all the lick, screamed it, lick. You know, it was at that time, that was the style, you know, vocal lick. And it worked. It really worked. And but that came from Energy. And there's a few other ones that George Gardos, who hung around at the time, brought in. I think Sitting on a Rainbow was that. Right now, I can't think of too much more than that. But basically, a lot of what I would consider the more AOR sounding songs that Mountain did came from Energy, which was basically, it was a soft rock band, you know, keyboards, bass, and drums. And apart from the drummer being very loud, it was it was pretty mellow.
Yeah.
I don't know about mellow. Basically, what I like to say is Leslie mountainized the songs that came from that era.
Yeah. All right. So you replaced drummer Indy Smart in Mountain.
Yes.
How did that wind up happening?
Well, quickly, what happened is that from what I understood, Norman wasn't really the drummer they wanted. Felix had played with Norman, I think, back in Toronto. Ian and Sylvia, the folk duo. Felix knew Norman, but he was basically a folky drummer. He was folked up. And I didn't know this until I went to see them at Angano's, which at the time was a cool club on the Upper West Side of New York. We went up to see Leslie and Felix play with Norman. And that was, I think, the first time that they played together. And it was at that time they just said Leslie West Mountain. That was the name of Leslie's record. I sat there, I listened, and I thought it was, hold on. I thought it was pretty, hold on a second, babe. Colin, can I call you back? Yeah. Okay, babe, it's my son calling. where was I? I sat in the audience. I was watching them, and it was good, but they weren't rocking yet. You know what I mean? Norman was not a hard hitter, and he made a big mistake, DC. When you talk to a guy like Leslie, after hearing him play, and Felix, and he actually turned to the guys, I guess, during the set and says, "Can you guys turn down?" And I'm saying, not a good moment for him, you know.
Oh,
And
wow.
that point, he was. I mean, that was straight there, and
Wow.
and I remember because I got a note to go backstage in this club, and Felix says, "Come on back," and he wanted to talk to me, and I said, "Okay." Really innocent, by the way. And I saw the show; it was good. It didn't, you know, it didn't. It was great to see Felix and Leslie and play. Didn't think anything of it. And he says, "Can you do me a favor, Corky? Can you go to Manny's, you know, music shop in New York or Midtown, and pick up some drum catalogs for drums?" And I said, "Well, yeah, but why are you asking me to pick up?" "Well, I want Norman to have a better set of drums. You know, I'm not really happy." And I'm looking at him going, "Well, you know, I think Norman should go and choose the drums." I knew there was something fishy there. Anyway, long story short, if I can do this, I got the magazines, you know, the Slingerland, Ludwig, I got all the magazines, and I brought them up to Felix's penthouse. And there was Leslie sitting in the, you know, they have these chairs where the English butlers sit, you know, all leather and so, and he's sitting there in his chair as I walk in, and he winks at me. And I said, "Hey, Les, how you doing? Where's Felix? I got some." He goes, "He's in the back." And he's in the back. And he says, "It's going to be good." And I said, I no idea what he's talking. I go back there and I say, "Here you go, Felix. Here's the thing, and good luck," type of thing. And he says, "No. Sit down, Cork." And he tells me, he just says, "We're not terribly happy with Norman." And I said, "Okay." And he silence, you know, pointing, "Cork, do you think you can handle the drum throne in this band?" And at the time, I told you the band Energy was not a heavy band. We played cover records, and I looked at him and I said, "You mean you're asking me, do you think I could do it?" And I just said, I thought about it for at least 3 seconds, and I came right back and I said, "Fucking A." I said, "I'll do it, whatever it takes." Not really knowing, by the way, how much work it was going to take. Because, you know, it's the difference between watching a football game and being the quarterback or the right tackle on this. You know what I mean? You're
Right.
in the game. You got to physically do it. It's not like, "Hey, it's pretty cool, man." No, you have to get in there and execute it. And it was a lot of fun. I have to say, terribly challenging, because it wasn't a style that I aspired to. Between you and I, there was no one like that. There was no bands like Mountain at the time. You know, you know, you had Cream. That would be a really good example. But I got to tell DC, with all due respect, I am nowhere near the capabilities of Mr. Baker. You know what I mean? I'm saying, that's a wow. You know, that guy's a fucking wow. Anyways, but you know what? That's where I had to go. That was the direction. That was the brass ring I had to go and try to get to, which I never stopped. I'm still trying to get there.
Well, you guys were America's answer to Cream, though.
Yeah, I guess that's what happened. Well, consider that. People were actually thinking, well, Corky Laing must be like pretty good. And it was, I gotta tell you, it was a lot of fun. But I just did everything I knew, every chop, every quiet note, the loudest notes. The sticks were cracking, they were breaking everywhere because I was just going for it, and it was great. You know, you run into people like Clive Bunker from Jethro Tull, and I'm playing with these guys. These guys are amazing drummers. All these English guys, their heads down. I said, "Why don't you guys ever look up? You know, all the drummers, Ginger Baker, you know, and you can't see who they are. Keith Moon, I told you, Keith Moon told me, when you're back there, stand up straight, keep the cymbals low so you can see the cleavage on the chicks in the front row. And I was on my way, but it was challenging, and it was a great challenge. You do the best you can. You know what I'm saying? You just you step up on the rug. And I got lots of fun. I'm talking about it like it's a history. It's not. It's the future. This is the future right now we're talking about. A lot of people don't believe it, but it's here. It's not great, but it's here. Okay.
How well did you know Ginger?
Absolutely not at all. What happened quickly is there was a lot of parties going on in England, and what's his name from the Bandit Gypsies, the drummer, Buddy. Anyways, a few parties, and they had a lot of parties for at the time in England and stuff. And Ginger was at these parties, and Felix would come over. Hey, why don't you say hello to Ginger? I said, no, man, I love that. He's my hero. I know he's a dick. With all due respect, that was the reputation he had.
Yeah.
Ginger Baker's a fucking dick. Don't go near him. And it turned out, I never went near him until one day in Connecticut. I lived in Westport. I was going to my friend's house, and my friend worked for Epic. And apparently Ginger Baker ended up in his front doorway because Jack and Ginger were playing up at Toad's place in New Haven, and Ginger got lost. And anyways, my friend picked him up and put him in the house. It was one of those crazy times, and I'm driving by the house, and it's on the beach, a beautiful house, and there's a big window, and guess who's sitting in the window with his pipe? And I stop, I look up, and I knew. I said, what do you want to do, Cork? You want to go say hello? And I said, fuck it. So I got out of the car, I walk up, nobody's around. It's just Ginger in that front room in the window smoking his pipe. And I walk in, and I said, Ginger, Corky Laing here. I know who the fuck you are. That's and I went, whoa, and he says, nobody will ever be as good as Cream. I didn't say a word at that point. He gets right into it. And I said, hey, Ginger, I just came by to say hello to Gail and Terry, who own the house. They're friends of mine, good friends. And they told me you'd be here. I thought I would just come and welcome you to Connecticut. Fuck yeah. That was our relationship.
Wow.
Wow. But that was the time meeting him. And then about a year ago, a little over a year, Malcolm Bruce, was that 4 years? Okay, my manager's talking is great. Malcolm Bruce put together this tribute concert for his father. His father passed away, and hired all these musicians that played with Jack at the Shepherd's Bush concert hall to come and play together. It was a great event. And did I tell you this story? Because I know we talked. All right, quickly. So Malcolm flies me over. And at the time I was playing with Kofi, Ginger's kid, Kofi Baker. And I said, Malcolm, that's great. Try to get us on the same flight. We were both coming out of New York at the time. And Malcolm says, oh, cool. And I get a call back from Malcolm. Corky, listen, you got to keep it cool. Malcolm is not invited anymore. Kofi is not invited anymore. I said, what are you talking about, Malcolm? He says, well, we want Ginger to come, and Ginger won't come and play if Kofi's there. DC, you know what I'm saying? What kind of shit is that? What? Anyways, this is when I go back. Ginger Baker is known to be a dick. Anyways, so I had to go, and Kofi's calling and saying, "Oh, I'll see you there." And I'm going, Kofi, you may want to speak to Malcolm first. Anyway, long story short on that, Ginger shows up. I'm with my manager, Tuya. We show up together, and there's some great drummers there that we could all talk. And Jack played with the best. He's got all these great musicians. And sure enough, Ginger comes in with his buddy, and he's all tied up with his nostrils and his tank of his air and stuff. He's walking in and coming backstage and doesn't talk to anybody. Won't even pick up a set. Gets on stage, Ginger Baker, they play, and we get off, and it's a beautiful concert hall. And I go back getting out on my way to the hotel. I'm in the elevator. Guess who comes around the corner with his tank and his mask and his oxygen and everything? He comes around the corner and he looks at I walk in. I didn't say a word at that point. I didn't want to remind him about the event in Connecticut. Anyway, so didn't say a word. Again, we had that relationship. That was our conversation. Anyways, but
every single person.
We're gonna. What's that, babe?
I said every single person I've talked to that knew him said he was ornery as fuck.
Yeah, that's it. Ornery's good. That's an easy way of doing it. But the thing is, he's an amazing percussionist, you know, for his time and his dedication. It's hard to come near that kind of commitment and the results of being an amazing drummer. And he put Cream together. And after playing with Jack and hearing the stories of Ginger from Jack himself, they were jumping at each other's throat. I mean, it was something.
Yeah.
And you know, the very fact that I had a chance to play with Jack and record and play and perform, to me, that's when I was sort of in the zone I was trying to get to. And what a great place to be.
Oh,
and
wow.
I would never, ever, you know, with all due respect, I would never put myself in that same loop as Ginger, you know, Buddy Rich, all that. Those guys they're on the beta wave. They're way off in another wave, you know, and it's great. It's great that, you know, that you're able to rub shoulders, if you don't mind me saying. Just get next to them, you know, it comes off. The vibe comes off on you. The air you're breathing is the same air, and it's good. It's really good.
You know, Corky, when you joined Mountain with Leslie and Steve and Felix, you guys just, that combination, that synergy between you guys just propelled you. I mean, Nantucket Sleigh Ride, Flowers of Evil, Climbing, all those albums, as well as what you guys did with Mississippi Queen, 1970, 1971, I guess.
Yeah.
When you think of that period, do you think, damn, I wish I'd been there a little earlier so I could have gotten in on that Woodstock?
You had to bring that up. I thought we were friends. You know?
We are, but I mean, you just barely missed it, right?
I missed that one big time, but it's all right. You know why? Because I'm Woodstock,